welcome to the sound test room. Hello to everyone here in the chat. Today we are taking a look at SynthMaster 2 here and Cubasis 3. And we're gonna so this is the start of a track that may go over a week or so. Not every night, obviously. I'll do like maybe the next part maybe on Saturday. Yeah, it's kind of going to be in the style of Tangerine Dream, Berlin School music. Now, the key here is you'll see that I've frozen all the audios for these are all SynthMaster 2s, so everything we're going to use is going to be SynthMaster 2. But everything is frozen, and this is because all these are, and there's a lot with this, like with Tangerine Dream, it's just one thing. Apart from leads, if something is playing like a sequence, if we, and then we sort of solo, it's just the same thing for ages and ages. And the key here is how we blend sequences together and textures and stuff to make a complete project. So a lot of stuff fades in, a lot of stuff fades out, fades in, fades out. You end up with an awful lot of tracks playing the same thing over long periods of time. Hence, blinking with the flipping chair. So yeah, so the idea is that we're gonna start off with a little bit of mixing. Because if we go back to the beginning of our project, so I'm using the fader port. The first thing I want is, where is it? Is that? So we'll start off, and we won't need to worry about, let's turn that pad down a sec. And let's turn the hi-hats down, because the hi-hats are going to fade in while this bass sequence is playing. Now I know this may seem a little bit like, oh, this could be boring, and you know what, it could be. However, this is it's a good way to take things step by step with something like this, because if you listen to something like Tangerine Dream or anybody like that, and when it gets to anything, it sounds incredible, but the actual process is quite straightforward, because bearing in mind most of this stuff was kind of, again, done in the 70s with tapes. So what they'd have is ages and ages and ages of music, like maybe 10-20 minutes of the same thing repeated tons of times, and the key would be they'd be riding the faders that the track would be playing. So I started off with a couple of these just so I'm not holding the key for 10 minutes, because this is actually, if we look over here, it's about 8 minutes in total length, the track. So what I'm going to start off by doing is, if we go to our mixer, and you'll see this is our hi-hats, and I'm going to arm the record. I'm going to arm the what's it for this, the read and write, and then when I start to record, as I feel the music, I can start to ride the fader up. And because we're using digital technology, which is a marvelous thing, it's all going to be automated for us in the future. So that's really very cool. So we can start that off straight away. So I'm not sure, I can't remember now, but I don't think I need my do I need my record arm to read and write automation? I don't think I do. We'll give it a go, and if it doesn't work, we can always try that again. So I'm just going to press play, and the bass will come in, and then we can start to automate this. And we only need to get to a certain point where we're happy, and then we can stop the automation, and then later when we want to automate it back down or up and down and stuff, we can just carry on from that point with the automation. So very, very cool indeed. So let's go with that. Okay, so if we rewind this now, yep, that's worked. So hopefully this automation will just start to ride up now. And what I'm going to do is select number 3, and I'm going to switch off the write for this and arm the read and write for number 3. I'll do the same with that. Leave this because I want to start to drive that back down when this comes in, and I'm going to leave it like this because I'm going to add some EQ to it. Awesome. Oh, thanks, Jason. Top man. And now we can then begin to automate. So as you start to automate stuff as you go, it makes life a lot easier. So I'm going to automate the sequence track now. So select that. So we basically want it to start from 0. I'm just going to read and write. And as this is coming in now, and we can check all our automations working in a moment, but you know. As soon as this starts to go down, we want to be bringing the sequence up, otherwise they'll conflict. If we pop back over to beginning just to check our automation worked okay for our pad, which I'm sure it did. Hope you're all well as well. Hi Audible, how are you? So this is the very, very basics. I mean, there's going to be like tons more stuff going on over this beginner section. We'll have effects and things, you know, probably more sounds, but trying to do this as a thing, like get your mixing done as early as possible, so your automation sort of thing. also as well, here's a tip as well, you don't really need to change your key or your chords. Everything here is C minor, everything. You want to play along. And it will be for the whole track. So what we can do is we can skip along a bit here and we can watch our automation work anyway with our scroll. So we can skip along a bit here till we see the patch has started. There we go. So about there we can hear how this is gonna work now. So okay, so that's all our automation done to that point. What we want to do now is need to do a little bit of EQing here and there. So at the moment, these sounds are completely as they've come out of SynthMaster whatnot. I've applied no extra effects and stuff. We may apply extra effects at some point, maybe at the weekend. We carry on, and I've added some more longer bits, and not to bore you all to death, sort of thing. So let's just solo the hats, right? So let's play. We'll solo the hi-hats and let's go into insert effects here, tap to add an effect, and I'm going to add audio unit, and I'm going to add a DDMF 61 4040 EQ because it's just brilliant. So we can low cut right here. So right, let me just, I've done that wrong. So what I'm going to do is, I never paid attention. I need to have the track selected that I want to adjust. Okay, so we can add more stuff to this, but let's do it this one now. So again, okay. So we take some of that low pass, and then take the mid. That's going to fit in much better. And also, a lot of times what they do is this. So we could put like, and we've got a reverb as a send, so you can hear it, you know. We can run the EQ down on the hats a little bit, actually, the top end. So if we go back to about we'll start to add a little bit of lead. So when the comes in, key. We can freeze again now. But before I freeze, I'm going to duplicate this. Oops. Duplicate this. Delete this MIDI file because we don't need it. I'm going to change the color up as well. So that's lead 1. So whatever I decide to put in, which will probably be another sequence now, which will start to come in just after this. So this is, you kind of start to build up the main body of the track sort of thing without all the kind of embellishments and stuff like this, you know. So we're on this track here now selected. Color we're going to change to maybe this, and we'll call, I'm going to call this, I'm going to definitely put a sequence in, so I'm going to call this one sequence 2, because we already have a sequence. It's really only just to keep it's for your own benefit, really. And then what we can do is freeze this one out, the little lead part, and it'll render this, and it'll give us a silly long tail, but you know, it don't matter. We can just cut that with this. So we'll go to about here, select this track here, and just split and erase the back end of that, and then we can get rid of this whole thing. Let's just see if it's worked all right. I'm sure it has, and then we can do our mixing or whatever. So see you later, Gary. And then we'll have a sequence start to fade in around here. So it'll, you know, another kind of thing, but we'll keep this one running, because also as well, if you'll notice what Tangerine Dream used to do, was they'd have like maybe 2, 3, even probably 4 sequences running sometimes. And then later years they'd have a kick, so we're gonna have it just go doom, doom, doom coming as well. And this the whole thing together starts to, this is why the tracks were long, because they start to give this really hypnotic vibe if you're listening. So you're not really, because it's basically staying at the same key, the same chord, nothing needs to change. So it's musically super simple. The skill came is because they were geniuses. It came how they'd layer, how they'd fade in, how they'd fade out, what effects they'd add. You know, the care and attention they take to the actual mix and stuff. That's where the skill comes in. Right, anyway, of course, with any automation anyway, you can always just go in and delete your automation and start again if you did your fader stuff wrong. So anyway, there's that. So let's need to go and see sort of what's going on here now in SynthMaster. And it'll be the same sound as we had. So we're looking at sequences, basically. We want to go into our browser here. You can make some adjustments to sequence, and I need to do some EQ on that pad sound as well, I must remember. Although, you know, so let's go with Arpeggiator just for a start. And let's have a look. So, Now that's classic Berlin. So that's what we shall go with. Because again, my idea here is there are so many presets to search through. Once you find one that may work, the idea is there that, you know, that might be a good idea to actually try that in a track and use it, you know. Cool. So let's just see. Let's go back to maybe a little bit before. Let's go into scroll and see. You have a like try and pick up a feel for this track, feel for the sounds. So if you go back to say there. Another tip as well, give yourself more track than you'll actually need. Like you said, we're hardly using any of this pad, we're not using all of this sequence. We faded in the hi-hats, we're going to fade them out again very shortly. Use less, always record more than what you'll need, because you can always fade in and out. Just make sure that you're on time when you hit it in, so it's... I think I'm just going to stick with that. Maybe I actually just really like that as it is. So at this point you think this is where it gets boring, but it's important, and you can kind of start to get into that hypnotic vibe as the track's running. While this is running, I've got a chance to tell you it's mine and Colin's new album debut, Tales from the Edge of Yesterday, premiering on Thursday as a live stream. So if you're interested in hearing what me and Colin have been up to for the last 10 years. See, that sequence has dropped out now, so that will have way faded out by then. Also on Friday we are doing the Child of the Corn Dog Drambo pack, which is, to be fair, outstanding. It's incredible. And it may, by the time we finish this, it may be even longer. So I'm recording now more than I wait. You missed it last night. I did the Model 15 Audible. That will have definitely faded out by then, so we can stop that. And this is the point now of freezing these super long. I mean, you know, we all know SynthMaster 1, SynthMaster 2, SynthMaster Play are all very, very efficient, would easily run all of these as MIDI. However, running stuff like this as MIDI would be a pain, because if I go to here now and press play, you've got none of this because the MIDI hasn't been triggered. So what we really need to do is open it up and freeze it. I know it's going to sound okay because we've just ran it all right. And also the good thing as well is if you were even slightly off, I mean, I don't think I was off, and I had 16th quantizers in. We can get rid of this. We can delete that. Even if I was slightly off on this, you can easily just move it. You can just switch the bar control off and just move everything freely, so you're absolutely fine. I'll go a little bit further just in case. Let's select and split, and then we can erase the back end of that just to keep it neat. And of course then we can go into our trash and delete all the useless stuff that's been cut, all the audio that's been cut, sort of thing. So anyway, so what we've got, let's see what we've got now. And we want to be doing some automation on this now. So let's find our track. Let's show you the mixer. I'll arm the read and write. And if we also now, if we select sequence 2 now, like this, now I'll arm right on that as well. I'll start to fade that out now. So you know you're getting the vibe if you've ever listened to Tangerine Dream or anyone who does Berlin. So that's it now, our automation is done for that, so we can disable right for that one. Select sequence 6 again. Where are we? Or sequence 2 track 6, which is this. Right before it finishes, we'll then fade that out. So much cool stuff we can hear now to add and stuff, you know, for our next session with this track. yeah. So let's right, okay, so I'm not going to add any more now because it's 33 and I want to run the track to make sure it sounds okay, and then on maybe Saturday or Sunday and Sunday maybe can you hear me playing along? Right, so yeah, so Tangerine Jim, what they did is spare maybe possibly as well a Froze or throw A, or whichever way you'd want to. You know, he because he was a guitarist as well. He'd do guitar solos. If you listen to Force Majeure, there's a lot of that on there, kind of thing. Yeah. So I mean, then we could we'll see how far we can take it, basically. But yeah, I think this sounds okay. The basic automation is kind of done for these initial kind of basic tracks. If we run this really small, I can actually do that, and then if we open the mixer, we can watch it run its course, give you a chance to say ta-ra to each other and stuff like that. But can you hear? Well, I understood it was a spelling mistake, Colin. It's not a problem, mate. But yeah, I love it. I love Tangerine Dream. I love this kind of vibe. There's so much stuff, but you'll find that by the time we get like when we've done some more tracks and stuff, they end up massive. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff going on. So if I add anything before the next session, it'll only be because you've got super long things and you want to fade in and out and stuff like this. Also, for Berlin School automation, that's the key. That's the key to making everything sound smooth, everything sound lovely. You know, you can listen to a Tangerine Dream and kind of just get into the zone, and it will, by the time you finish listening, it will be a totally different than it was at the very beginning, but you will not have noticed it happening. So the idea here is to try. Yeah, it might be audible. It might well be that long in the end. But at the moment, it's about 8 minutes. We're still tracking. With something like this, I'd rather take my time and do it over a course of videos instead of just kind of trying to get everything done in one hit. And then maybe we can release it. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe I can share the project file, since it'll all be frozen. Anybody then can kind of have a mess with it. I'm going to close the microphone, guys. I thank you very, very much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at starting a track, a Berlin music kind of Tangerine Dreamish track. Hopefully give you some ideas of how this worked, how they worked, and how you could do it, which is really very, very simple in Cubasis with the read and write. You know, I was using the fader put, but you can just use this as well. Awesome stuff. Not bloody Berlin, Colin, the band. Right, okay, guys, bless you all. Jade's on at 9, continuing her Nano Studio epic, and I will see you all tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow, but on Thursday it's a new album from me and Colin, Tales from the Edge of Yesterday, our new super prog album. Oh, thanks, Dean. Our new super prog album. And then on Friday I'll be doing Drambo. Yes, I'll be doing Drambo, because Child of the Corn Dog sent me his Drambo presets, and they are just, I've never heard nothing like them. It's just incredible. The work that must have gone into them is just insane. Here we go with the track, guys. I'll see you later. Bless you all.